The images recently released by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory have sparked global astonishment, revealing behavior never before recorded in any interstellar object. For the first time in history, an object known as 3I Atlas brightened 4 separate times within only 6 minutes. A change so rapid and extreme that even NASA's most advanced telescopes had never captured anything remotely similar. Scientists have long considered 3I Atlas a paradox in the sky because it behaves in ways that defy natural patterns and even seems to react to observation, shifting its brightness and motion as though aware of being watched. This has led some researchers and observers to speculate whether the object is moving on its own or guided by an unknown force. If such ideas were true, it would challenge the very foundation of human assumptions about our solitude in the universe. The report released quietly by NASA on October 29, 2025, intended as a routine publication documenting the passage of a comet-like body near the Sun, quickly spread through the scientific community as it became clear that nothing about 3I Atlas aligned with the laws of nature. NASA's data revealed that the object brightened by a factor of 5 only days after leaving the Sun, a phenomenon impossible for a normal comet. Typical comets brighten when heated, releasing vapor and dust that form a tail, but 3I Atlas emitted no vapor, no tail, no dust, nothing at all that could explain the increasing light. The area around it remained perfectly clear even as its luminosity rose sharply. Measurements from the Deep Space Network and the European Space Agency confirmed NASA's findings, ruling out software glitches or sensor errors. Japan's Subaru telescope also captured the phenomenon, revealing a faint green halo that matched the timeline exactly. These confirmations prove the effect was not an illusion or distortion, but a genuine change in space itself, one that occurred far more rapidly than anyone had believed possible. The report also noted that the object's acceleration deviated from its predicted orbit. Instead of slowing down after passing the Sun, it was speeding up. This motion could not be explained by gravity or solar radiation pressure, so NASA labeled it a non-gravitational propulsion pattern, a phrase vague enough to avoid speculation, yet provocative enough to imply the presence of forces beyond natural models. If gravity was not pulling it forward, something else had to be pushing it, yet sensors detected no dust, no jets, no mass loss, nothing that would indicate natural thrust. It moved as though powered by an invisible engine. Even cautious NASA scientists described the event as unprecedented, and the European Space Agency agreed, calling the behavior beyond current physical models. This revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific world because interstellar objects historically obey predictable gravitational laws, their paths set by the Sun's pull. But 3I Atlas was not drifting, it was navigating. Researchers ran thousands of simulations attempting to mimic the object's motion, but none succeeded unless an unknown external force was added. The conclusion was unavoidable. 3I Atlas was not behaving like anything observed before. Some described its changes as responsive, almost intelligent. Dr. Avi Loeb of Harvard proposed that the object might be using a form of controlled propulsion, similar to an ion drive, technology that exists only in human spacecraft. Yet here it was, functioning across billions of miles with no detectable signals or mechanism. Adding to the mystery, the object followed an orbit so unusually flat that it nearly matched the plane in which all planets orbit. Most interstellar visitors, like Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019, enter the solar system at steep angles, slicing through the planetary plane. 3I Atlas, however, traveled alongside the planets as if following a predetermined route or cosmic highway. Even more astonishing, it passed near Venus, Mars, and Jupiter at distances nearly ideal for gravity-assist maneuvers, the same technique NASA uses to boost spacecraft speed without fuel. For a natural object to replicate such maneuvers was statistically near impossible, with odds calculated at roughly 0.00002%. This raised the question of whether the path was intentional rather than coincidental. The Gaia Observatory later confirmed that its acceleration remained steady and consistent for over 30 days, resembling an engine's smooth output rather than chaotic natural forces. Speculation grew. Some theorized the object might be hollow or metallic, absorbing heat and converting it into motion. Others suggested it was a fragment from a star system with unknown physics. Yet none of these theories explained the direction or precision of its thrust. The object reflected light uniformly and showed no wobble or tumbling as natural bodies do. Every observation hinted at design. Thermal readings added a new layer of intrigue. 3I Atlas maintained a perfectly even temperature across its entire surface. Even when one side faced the sun, natural comets heat unevenly and crack as they expand and contract. 3I Atlas remained stable, as if covered in a conductive metallic shell that distributed heat. Spectral analysis revealed high levels of nickel but almost no iron, an unnatural chemical imbalance, since nickel and iron form together in stars. Even more baffling, it contained almost no water, less than 4% of what typical comets hold, making it unlikely to have formed in cold regions of the solar system. Instead, its chemistry suggested a birthplace near extreme heat, perhaps the core of a destroyed planet or near a dying star. Optical readings showed its surface reflected more energy than it absorbed, behavior consistent with polished metal. It also showed negative polarization, meaning it reflected light in a direction opposite to what physics predicts, a property rare even among engineered materials. Chile's Very Large Telescope confirmed that the entire object appeared to be composed of a single uniform material with no natural variation in texture or density. Natural objects are chaotic and mixed. 3I Atlas was smooth, balanced, mirror-like. Scientists hesitated to call it artificial, but evidence pointed increasingly toward engineering rather than geology. When compared to earlier interstellar visitors, the differences sharpened. Oumuamua was strange, cigar-shaped, and slightly accelerated by sunlight pressure, though within arguable limits. Borisov behaved entirely like a natural comet, releasing dust and gases. But 3I Atlas showed no dust, no decay, and instead accelerated as it moved away from the sun. Its brightness grew as it cooled. Its reflections were unnaturally clean and stable, and its orbit aligned suspiciously closely with the planetary plane. For a random interstellar object, such alignment had odds of less than 1 in half a million. Together, the three interstellar visits, Oumuamua in 2017, Borisov in 2019, and Atlas in 2025, appeared almost sequential, like escalating clues rather than isolated events. Some theorists wondered whether this pattern represented phases of an unknown process: a scout, a control sample, and a messenger. Then came the most puzzling behavior yet: pulsing light. Instead of fading after leaving the sun, 3I Atlas began emitting timed bursts of light, flashes repeating every 17 minutes in groups of 3. These pulses did not match any rotation pattern and were independent of motion. Multiple observatories confirmed that they originated from the object itself and were too precise to be natural. Shockingly, the pulse cadence mirrored the intensity curve of the famous 1977 WOW signal when converted into optical frequencies. The possibility that the two events, separated by nearly 50 years, could be linked raised profound questions. Independent researchers suggested that the object might be responding to the original signal or continuing a message sent long before humanity could understand it. NASA offered no interpretation, calling it simply an anomaly of unknown origin. The pulses stopped after several days, as if the message had been delivered and was now awaiting a reply. As the object moved behind the sun, new observations complicated the situation further. Solar observatories detected an enormous symmetrical structure in the corona, stable under extreme radiation, moving in perfect synchrony with 3I Atlas's projected path. Air traffic systems and satellites soon began reporting glowing aerial formations near Earth, silent orbs above oceans, luminous rings above airports, jellyfish-like shapes drifting at high altitudes. These sightings occurred only during the period when 3I Atlas was hidden behind the sun, leading some to propose that small probes or fragments might have separated from the main object. The idea sounded speculative, yet the timing and consistency of the